Hey there, welcome to this Tuesday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey. So, schools have been officially up and running since yesterday. And students, we hope you're all ready to be extra focused this year. Today is celebrated globally as International Literacy Day, and we in Jamaica have much to celebrate, following the recent announcement that the country has mastered literacy. Today we explore this issue, hearing from policymakers, educators, and students. Stick around as we get things rolling.
No, son. A verb is an action word.
Parents need to become more involved in their children's education.
Parents are the first and in many cases the most important teachers.
Read with your children. Review their schoolwork. Visit their school.
Tapping and rapping and slapping, I said.
Nice. High five. Woo!
A good education will never decay.
Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your GIS News for Tuesday, September 8. The Rosal Alpart plant in Nain, St. Elizabeth is on track to resume full operation by the end of next year. Confirmation came Monday with the export of 35,000 tons of bauxite to the Ukraine.
December 2016 is intact, and I'm very pleased to see that the plans now are unfolding for that to happen, and very shortly I know the company will start to do its full recruitment.
Mining Minister Philip Paulwell said 350 persons are now employed, with the company planning to hire up to 1,000 people when fully operational. Monday's shipment is the first in 6 years after the plant closed in 2009, following a downturn in global demand for bauxite and alumina. The closure was, however, used to undertake rehabilitation work to conveyors, ship loading equipment, loading hoppers, power generators, and the mining and trucking of bauxite. The board of the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority is assuring the public and its workers of its commitment to the safety of the island's airspace.
The current board of the JCAA is fully committed to the rights of our workers. We respect our workers, and we're committed to the process of training them, helping them to grow, and to make sure that they have a good and conducive environment in which to work.
The Deputy Chairman of the Civil Aviation Authority was speaking at a recent GIS think tank. The authority and air traffic controllers are currently negotiating wages for the 2015-2017 contract period. For his part, Board Chairman B. St. Michael Hilton said the authority was conscious of the challenges employees face, but also recognized the tight fiscal constraints in the public sector. Mr. Hilton said the authority continued to upgrade and modernize its highly specialized equipment to ensure not only the safety of its employees, but also the traveling public. As part of that safety program, the relationship with the Jamaica Defense Force has been extended to improve the authority's capabilities in the event of natural disasters or other eventualities that may cause a disruption in service.
We therefore have a business continuity plan in place. We are training additional personnel. We are taking steps that if there is any development that makes personnel unavailable, there will be contingency arrangements in place to, as I say, reduce any inconvenience to the public. And as I say, pursue and maintain our primary duty, which is to keep the airspace safe.
The Education Ministry is urging all stakeholders to continue to sustain and advance their commitment to the promotion of national and global literacy. The call comes as Jamaica joins the rest of the world today in celebrating International Literacy Day 2015. Education Minister Reverend Ronald Thwaites noted that the day is significant for Jamaica as the country celebrates the recent milestone of achieving its target of 85% literacy by 2015. The minister credits the improvement to several interventions instituted by the ministry. They include the National Comprehensive Literacy Program, in addition to the deployment of reading coaches to schools over the last 2 years, with the help of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson is reiterating his call for the construction of an academy to be named after former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez. While participating in the 10th anniversary of the Petro-Carib Summit over the weekend, Mr. Patterson called on delegates to marshal the resources to build the institution. He said the school would stand as an enduring testimony to Hugo Chavez, who made a monumental difference on which this succeeding generation must build.
This would expose the sons and daughters of Simon Bolivar, Jose Marti, Toussaint Louverture, and Marcus Garvey to develop fluency in language and hone the skills which blend our economic development and different cultures.
The proposal is for the school to be built at the site where Spanish liberator Simon Bolivar wrote the famous Carta de Jamaica, or Letter of Jamaica. The tertiary institution will offer courses in tourism, language, culture, sports, maritime, environment, and nursing. New categories were added to this year's public sector customer service competition as government makes good on its promise to better serve Jamaicans.
The most responsive entity, which will be the organization who is able to demonstrate that they have used customer feedback to improve their operations. There's also the most socially aware entity, and for this year we're recognizing an organization who has been able to show that they've been able to improve access to their services to persons from our special needs community.
Acting Senior Director in the Modernization Program Implementation Unit, Michelle Gordon-Somers, was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. The award ceremony for this, the 7th staging of the competition, is scheduled for October 9 at the Terra Nova Hotel in St. Andrew. And finally, the Mandeville Regional Hospital has announced a telephone line for the public until the regular switchboard can be restored. The number is 9610504. The hospital's switchboard was recently affected by a severe lightning storm. Work is now being done to restore the regular lines to full operation. In the meantime, hospital officials have apologized to the public for any inconvenience. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
Don't make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean.
So Jamaica has much to celebrate in the area of literacy. The country has exceeded the target of 85% literacy at the primary level for 2015. In fact, the 2015 Grade 4 cohort attained 86.5% mastery on the Grade 4 literacy test. Here are some of the reasons for our success.
I'm pleased to announce that the country, Jamaica, has reached and exceeded the target of 85% of students in the grade 4 age group who have mastered literacy by 2015. This translates into mastery of 100% of the group when we take into account students who are affected by learning disabilities and who we provide for in special ways. I could not overemphasize the importance of this achievement. The change in mastery jumped by 9.1 percentage points between 2014 and 2015. Of the total number of students who achieved mastery in the literacy test, 80.3% were the boys and 92.5% were the girls. However, of great significance, the boys have considerably narrowed the usual 2-digit gap between their performance and that of the girls.
Since 2010, the ministry has been implementing its National Comprehensive Literacy Program. And this program entails providing support to classroom teachers in pedagogical development in literacy and language instruction, particularly at grades 1 to 6. It's important to consider the special initiatives that were put in operation over the last year in particular, which included, as he said, the administration of a national mock exam in literacy, the engagement of students who are identified as being clinically at risk in literacy by reading coaches who worked with them in special pull-out sessions, classroom teachers who sacrificed their time at the end of school to provide additional instructional periods for those students, and the parents in particular who we engaged in special children's parental sessions so that they could continue to advance and reinforce what the ministry's personnel, school's personnel were doing with those students.
The country set itself this goal many years ago, and I pay tribute to the successive political administrations, the administrators, and especially the teachers, the principals, and the parents who have brought us to a good point this year.
No doubt our literacy success is due to the hard work of our nation's educators who work tirelessly on the ground to reach students. We went all the way to a rural district in St. Elizabeth called Schoolfield, which is experiencing a literacy transformation due to the programs of the Ministry of Education, as well as some innovative and tailored strategies.
Shana, your word for today is abundant.
Abundant. A-B-U-N-D-A-N-T.
Toxic. At number 12, write the word toxic.
Mrs. Lewis from Schoolfield. This is a lady. She's benefited from leadership training, yes? And she has brought her school in 18 months at grade 4, that critical level, from what? 33% mastery to 78% mastery. Mrs. Primrose.
This is the Schoolfield Primary and Infant School far in the hills of St. Elizabeth. And this institution has seen a transformation in its literacy program, receiving high commendation from the Education Ministry. So let's step within its walls to find out what they have been doing to achieve this. The aptly named Schoolfield has now become a mother institution for the Education Ministry by using simple yet effective techniques to increase literacy among students. The ministry is on a mission to achieve the 2015 Millennium Development Goal of 85% mastery in literacy. So schools, particularly the ones that are struggling, are being encouraged to adopt some of the measures Schoolfield is undertaking to get there.
One of the first things I did in coming to the school was to focus on data as part of my NCL program. And so after we looked at the data, we saw that the literacy results was actually affecting the grade 6, the achievement test. And basically, we have a lot of problems in different academic areas, but our idea was if you fix the literacy, then we're thinking that more things will fall in place.
For every week you come here, you look forward to seeing Principal what again? Top speller. But I wonder if I have any top spellers this week. Do I? Yes, miss. Okay. Upwards of 21 books.
Wow, 21 books in 1 month? That's impressive. But for students at the institution, that's the norm. One popular strategy that has been effective is the incentivized top reader and top speller program.
Your word is population.
Population. They give we some list of words to study, and when we study them, we come back on a Friday, we get the words, and if you got the highest in a class, you'll be top speller. I've been a top speller from grade 4.
The program has gained much support from surrounding businesses in the area, which sponsor prizes of books and stationeries each month.
It's really good that we can encourage them to do well in reading and spelling. I've been in a classroom when I came here, and the competition is really stiff, and it was just so amazing that they're so into what they do. They want to spell as best as they can so that they can get a prize. So it's really motivating them to do their best.
This is a pretty day. Ben said, we must go and play. I have been improved by reading. My teacher have helped me a lot. Miss, I was behind Miss, and then I heard Miss, I was trying to come up with the other students, Miss, and I go up and I have improved in my class now, Miss.
Feel proud and feel happy so that him pick up and make greater.
One day, Franklin took Harriet outside to play. He put Harriet in her swing. He held her hand as she went down the slide, but he didn't see the puddle at the bottom. Miss, when I came down here, I couldn't read. And my grandmother, Mrs. Dennis, told me to try, and I feel proud to be a top reader.
These once slow readers have seen a turnaround with the help of a literacy specialist, otherwise called a reading coach, who has been assigned to the school by the Ministry of Education. The ministry has these coaches assigned to selected schools across the island.
I've been working with a lot of students, slow learners. What I do is to pull those slow learners from the regular class system, where I pull them based on their reading levels and their ability. When I first came, I did the IDRI, that's the Informal Diagnostic Reading Inventory, where I diagnosed to see the level that they're reading at. I went on the internet where we use the Jollyphonics. We pull the students, we have them using the videos and the games, and they're able to learn the letter sounds, they're able to see the letters and so on. And we use a lot of strategies. We teach them how to blend the sounds together to form the words and to construct their words to form sentences and now paragraphs. We have a lot of students where we see tremendous improvement in their reading outcome, which is I am very proud to say that the levels have improved and the students are more passionate about their learning.
Among the other strategies employed by the school's administration is providing more reading material, including the popular Children's Own newspaper. Also, grade 4 students have extra classes during the week and on the weekend. To ensure students come out to the early morning classes, a breakfast program is in place. It's run in partnership with the Education Ministry and gets private sector support. The school's strategies have been happily welcomed by the parents.
When he started grade 1, he couldn't write, couldn't spell his name, couldn't write letters, he couldn't do anything at all. He spell his name, he couldn't do anything at all. Now he can write properly and he can spell words now.
The transformation is ongoing, it's a process, and it's in progress.
The point we're making is that with solid leadership and commitment and fixity of purpose, we are well on the way to transforming the education system.
Be an active participant in your child's life. Spend time with your child. No phones, no television, no distractions, just the two of you. Get to know your child through play. Why not go to the park and get on the monkey bars? Sharing a meal can also be a time of bonding. If your child's in school, be involved in school activities. Speak with your child's teacher, follow up on their progress in school, and see how you can help. Assist them with homework. Attend parent-teacher meetings and support school fundraising events. Remember, your child's future is in your hands. Safeguard it.
So glad you are a child of mine.
So even as the ministry and our educators do their part in ensuring all our students are literate, parents and guardians also have a big role to play. But should they be held accountable for students who cannot read and write? Let's hear the public's view on this.
Yeah, because they should spend more time with them to help them that they can be able to read and write.
Yeah, they're the ones who are supposed to see to it that the children get some sort of learning.
I think so, because as a parents, you have to take your children interest in hand. So, for instance, you send these children and going to school. Coming from school, you have to check if they do anything at school. You can't just leave it up like that.
Of course, because they're the parents. Learning starts from the home. So definitely.
Yes, I think they should be held accountable because they are the first teachers that you'll have. Just like in the animal kingdom, just you have to watch them and see what they are coming out to. If you want your child to be able to learn to read and write, you have to do it so that they learn from you. Don't just rely on teachers alone.
We shift things a bit to the growing issue of climate change. From November 30 to December 11 this year, scores of nations will meet in Paris, France for the United Nations Climate Change Conference, dubbed COP21. Jamaica will join the rest of the world in this important conversation. And currently, the Climate Change Ministry is undertaking public consultations to engage and educate more Jamaicans on climate change impacts. We revisit a previous consultation. Take a look.
The ministry has stepped up its public education on climate change. The first step, discussions with members of the public to get feedback on the climate change policy framework and action plan, which was approved by Parliament in November 2013. The discussion began with a simple definition of climate change.
Climate change involves distinct changes in measures of climate, lasting for long periods of time, resulting from human activity. So it's not just variation that would be normal, but these are long-term changes, almost permanent changes in the weather over time.
We need to get the message out, and although it is currently very popular, the whole education about climate change is somewhat behind, because it's with us and it's all around us. Longer droughts, heavier rains, more severe droughts, varying extremes.
And these extremes can cost the country millions. Severe droughts, heavier rains, and intense storms spell disaster. Like Hurricane Ivan in 2004, which cost Jamaica $36.9 billion and wiped out 8% of the country's gross domestic product that year. So government crafted a climate change policy framework and action plan to ensure people understand the importance of climate change mitigation and include mitigation in every aspect of planning across all sectors of society. The policy also supports institutions that will do climate change research and inform the rest of the country. These policy goals were explained to about 120 residents who turned up at the St. Mary Parish Church to hear more about the policy and give their opinions. Local climate change experts made the link between climate change phenomena and the day-to-day experiences of most Jamaicans.
The fact is that temperature is rising, and according to the scientists, at a rate of 0.1 degree every decade. So every 10 years, the temperature goes up by 1/10 of a degree. Anybody experiencing temperature increases? Have you noticed that the nights are getting warmer? We're having more warm nights, more warm days, and fewer nights that are very cold. Have you been experiencing that? That's a part of the reality of climate change.
In fact, in less than 10 years, global experts say Kingston will experience significant changes due to climate change. With the aid of charts, the ministry's principal director for the Climate Change Division showed residents the levels of temperature change to expect.
Different places will be affected differently. For example, in the western section of the island, the section number 2, 3, 8, and 9. Those sections, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, they will significantly be affected.
But while some damage has already been done, residents were told how government was working to slow or cushion the effects of climate change.
Our mitigation measures, and these are measures that we take to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and also measures that we take to remove greenhouse gases from the atmosphere.
And on the other hand, adaptation measures are used to address the generally accepted inevitable impacts of climate change on the natural and built environment. Practical examples include rainwater harvesting to deal with the effects of drought, raising houses and other buildings to deal with the damaging effects of flooding, and more. These are measures now being used in the development orders for St. Anne and Portland, where local authorities will identify sites for new urban settlements that will lessen their vulnerability to natural hazards, outlawing practices such as building in disaster-prone zones. In the meantime, residents were advised of some basic environmental no-nos.
We have a tendency in this country to burn everything we see inside. All the garbage you collect, you burn. The trees you cut down, you burn. This burning releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and that affects the climate, that affects the environment.
And truly, it was an interactive session with residents voicing concern about environmental issues.
We need to be a part of the process. So I'm recommending that you look at not just this mass meeting, but at the parish level, at the community level, where the document can be looked at that level. So we get it beforehand, so we could have gone through it, made some notes, made some comments.
Policy framework has been circulated for some time now. It is in parish libraries across Jamaica. It is available electronically on the website of our ministry. The document is with parish councils, the National Association of Parish Development Committees, and through the Best Communities Competition, that network, we're getting it out. So we will do our best effort.
I would like to say that I think that the initiative taken by the government is a very good one, because climate change is real and its effects are real, and it affects all of us, whether directly or indirectly. I think that the media outlets should play a more prominent role in helping to disseminate information to the public. And I think that they should try to convey the message like in layman's terms more, because a lot of people may not understand the big words and the terms that you may use. So I feel that you should do that more.
A point duly noted and welcomed by Minister of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change Robert Pickersgill, who promised to simplify the issues. Still, the residents felt good about the discussions.
Very informative.
I believe this is a good initiative by the government in combating climate change in Jamaica. This is a growing concern in our country and will affect our children to come.
I would just like to applaud the chairman and whoever is here today, who have been informing us about climate change, as some people are not aware of some of the things discussed about climate change.
In the words of Minister Pickersgill, with climate change, we must change. For GIS News, I'm Tamara McHale.
Well, we certainly engaged you in quite a fruitful discussion today on a number of important issues. But don't let the conversation end. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm to keep the discussion going. Or you can share your views on our Facebook page. For all the information you need, visit our website, gis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams, and this has been Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.